Have you ever heard of a reciprocal tariff? It sounds complicated, right? Well, it's basically a you scratch my back, I'll scratch your situation, but with taxes on goods. In simple terms, it's a way for countries to make sure they're playing fair in the global marketplace. Imagine country A slaps a big tax on goods coming in from country B. That's called a tariff. Now, country B might feel a bit put out, like they're being treated unfairly. So they might decide to impose their own tariff on goods coming in from country A. That's a reciprocal tariff, a tit for tat on taxes. The idea is that if country A sees their goods being hit with a tariff in country B, they might be more willing to lower their own tariff. It's a way to encourage everyone to play nice and avoid a full-blown trade war. Essentially, reciprocal tariffs are a tool that countries can use to protect their own industries and try to get better deals in international trade. They can be a bit controversial, though, as we'll see later. Let's break this down with a simple example. Imagine the United States loves importing delicious mangoes from a tropical paradise called Mongolia. Now, Mongolia, in an attempt to protect its own mango producers, decides to impose a hefty 30% tariff on all imported apples, which the United States happens to be really good at growing. This means that American apples become 30% more expensive in Mongolia, making them less competitive. The United States, not too happy about this, might decide to retaliate by imposing a reciprocal tariff of 30% on mangoes from Mongolia. Suddenly, those delicious Mongolian mangoes become 30% more expensive in the United States. This hurts both the Mongolian mango exporters and the American consumers who just want to enjoy a juicy mango. The hope is that this trade spat will lead to negotiations. Maybe Mongolia will lower its tariff on apples, and in return, the United States will lower its tariff on mangoes. Everyone wins, right? Well, in theory, yes, but in reality, it can get a lot more complicated. The United States has a long and storied history with tariffs. Back in the day, tariffs were a major source of revenue for the government, but they could also be used to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, the U.S. Congress passed the Reciprocal Trade Agreements Act of 1934. This landmark legislation shifted the power to negotiate trade deals from Congress to the President. This act gave the President the authority to strike deals with other countries, lowering tariffs in exchange for reciprocal reductions from those countries. The goal was to boost international trade, which had plummeted during the Depression. The 1934 Act marked a turning point in U.S. trade policy, moving away from protectionism and towards a more liberalized approach. It paved the way for the creation of the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, GATT, after World War II, which later evolved into the World Trade Organization, WTO. Fast forward to the 21st century, and the issue of reciprocal tariffs is back in the spotlight. The Trump administration, known for its America First trade policy, has been a vocal proponent of using tariffs to protect American jobs and reduce the trade deficit. President Trump has argued that the United States has been taken advantage of in trade deals for too long, and that reciprocal tariffs are a way to level the playing field. He has imposed tariffs on goods from China, the European Union, Mexico, Canada, and other countries, sparking trade disputes and raising concerns about a global trade war. The Trump administration's aggressive use of tariffs has been met with mixed reactions. Some argue that it's about time the United States stood up for its own interests, while others worry that it could damage the global economy and lead to higher prices for consumers. Section 5: Global Trade Tensions. The Trump administration's use of reciprocal tariffs has undoubtedly increased trade tensions around the world. China, the European Union, and other trading partners have retaliated with their own tariffs, targeting key American exports like soybeans, bourbon, and motorcycles. This tit-for-tat tariff battle has created uncertainty in the global economy, disrupted supply chains, and raised prices for businesses and consumers. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, has warned that a full-blown trade war could shave billions of dollars off global GDP growth. The World Trade Organization, or WTO, the international body that governs global trade, has also been caught in the crossfire. The Trump administration has criticized the WTO as being ineffective and biased against the United States. It has even blocked appointments to the WTO's appellate body, threatening to paralyze the organization's dispute settlement system. Section 6. Short-term and long-term economic impacts. The economic impact of reciprocal tariffs is complex and multifaceted. In the short term, tariffs can lead to higher prices for consumers and businesses as imported goods become more expensive. This can dampen consumer spending and business investment, slowing economic growth. Tariffs can also disrupt supply chains as businesses scramble to find alternative suppliers or adjust their production processes. This can lead to shortages, delays, and higher costs. In the long term, the impact of tariffs is less clear-cut. Some argue that tariffs can protect domestic industries from foreign competition, allowing them to grow and create jobs. Others contend that tariffs can lead to higher prices, reduced innovation, and retaliation from trading partners, ultimately harming the economy. The net economic impact of tariffs depends on a variety of factors, including the specific tariffs imposed, the responses of businesses and consumers, and the reactions of trading partners. It's a complex equation with no easy answers. Section 7. Sector-specific impacts. The impact of reciprocal tariffs is not felt equally across all sectors of the economy. Some industries are more exposed to tariffs than others, depending on their reliance on international trade and the specific goods and services they produce. For example, the agricultural sector has been hit hard by retaliatory tariffs from China and other countries. American farmers have seen prices for soybeans, pork, and other exports plummet, leading to financial hardship and uncertainty. The manufacturing sector has also been affected by tariffs, as higher prices for imported steel, aluminum, and other inputs have increased production costs. Some manufacturers have passed these costs on to consumers in the form of higher prices, while others have absorbed the costs, squeezing their profit margins. The technology sector, which relies heavily on global supply chains, has also been impacted by tariffs. Higher tariffs on imported components and finished goods have increased costs for tech companies, potentially leading to higher prices for consumers and slower innovation. Section 8. Recent developments, April 2025. In a move that sent shockwaves through the global economy, President Trump declared a national emergency in April 2025, citing persistent trade deficits as a threat to national security. The declaration paved the way for the imposition of a sweeping 10% tariff on all imports from all countries, with some exceptions for Canada and Mexico. This dramatic escalation of the trade war sent stock markets tumbling and drew swift condemnation from US allies and trading partners. The European Union, Canada, and China all vowed to retaliate with their own tariffs, raising fears of a full-blown global trade war. The US Chamber of Commerce, a powerful business lobbying group, criticized the tariffs as nothing more than a tax increase that would harm American businesses and consumers. The group warned that the tariffs could push the US economy into recession. Section 9. The potential of reciprocal tariffs. Reciprocal tariffs are a double-edged sword. While they can be a powerful tool for opening up markets and promoting free trade, they can also spark trade wars, disrupt global supply chains, and harm economic growth. The key to using reciprocal tariffs effectively is to strike a delicate balance between protecting domestic industries and promoting free trade. This requires careful negotiation, a willingness to compromise, and a commitment to upholding the rules-based international trading system. Whether reciprocal tariffs ultimately prove to be a force for good or ill in the global economy remains to be seen. The outcome will depend on the choices made by policymakers in the US and around the world. One thing is certain: the stakes are high and the world is watching.